What's going on, guys? Eric here, back with another deck profile. Today I will be covering my Lair of Darkness deck that I went 4-0 at our locals last event for the year. It was an OTS mat event. So we had OTS as prize support, and the mat up for grabs wasn't actually a Chaos Impact mat that I ended up trading for this beautiful Borrowload mat. My matchups were round 1, I went up against going second Crusadia. I 2-0'd him. Round 2, I went up against Cyber Dragons. I 2-0'd him. Round 3, I went up against Thunder Dragons, also 2-0, and then round 4, I went up against my good friend Dominique. He actually got a game off of me, and I went 2-1 against him. The deck is insane. It is probably my second favorite deck, well, aside from Burning Abyss. Its potential is insane. I have no idea how someone hasn't topped the YCS with this deck yet. The particular build I'm running is, I think, out there already, but hasn't been utilized in such a way that I have. I've tested every variant of the deck. I've tested the Tars version. I've tested Extravagance. I've tested all the different versions, and I believe that this is the best version of the deck. So as you can see here, I've got the mats. This was the card that I pulled out of my OTS. Beautiful, beautiful card. It's actually the only ulti I want, because it's the only one that can stand alone where you don't need a playset. But yeah, we can jump right into the deck profile. I do want to, however, give shout outs to start instead of at the end. Shout out to Palen and Ashvia. I owe Palen a deck profile to go up on the channel soon, Salamangreats. He's won about, I think, 4 or 5 of these mat events, which is insane. So, and he topped, I think he topped 4 our regional, which I definitely need to get a deck profile for. That will be coming up soon. Ashvia for also topping a few of the winner mat events with Draco, and for now playing Thunder Dragons. And then a big shout out to my girlfriend, actually, Taylor. She bought this deck for me for Christmas, or I believe it was my birthday last year, and I've been testing it, and I think I finally come up with a build that I can take to a regionals or take to a nationals, and I'm hoping to top. That is my goal with this deck. It will probably change, but we'll have to see within the coming months. So I'm going to start off with the main deck. So to start, we play a pretty small monster lineup. So we only play 2 Diablos. Reason being is he's searchable through Arima, and he is your boss monster. If you summon him 9 out of 10 times, you win the duel. You can keep making your opponent go neg2, tribute their cards, tribute their monsters, cards in their hand, back to top, bottom of their deck. He's insane. He's one of the best boss monsters, I think, in the game. He can't be kaju'd, can't be targeted. I think he's incredible. With Orcus running around though, Dingrisu does hurt him a lot, but it's not really a big issue. If you've got him and Lilith, they have to prioritize, and I presume they will hit the Lilith, because Lilith is just a machine. Speaking of Lilith, we obviously play the best card in the deck. Well, in tangent with Lair of Darkness, but she's insane. Tributing your opponent's cards during their turn and getting search effects that they can't ash is just crazy. The halving of attack points when you normal summon her doesn't matter. If they get rid of her, which they usually do, it doesn't matter. You just back to front her, and then she's 2000. Back to front in the end phase, turn her to attack, and she's a beefy 2000. She is the heart and soul of the deck. People can play this deck without Diablos, you can play it without Arima, but if you can't play it without her. The next card, as mentioned, is Arima. So this is your terraforming for Lair of Darkness, but it is also your draw engine. It is also your search engine. He's incredible. What a lot of people don't know about this deck is, if you have him on field and you tribute another dark monster, you can search Darkest Diablos. And what's awesome is, on the search, you can, on resolution, special summon Diablos because a monster was tributed to search him out. Diablos has a summoning condition where if a dark monster on my side of the field is tributed, so that is a bit of a downside, is tributed, you can special summon him for free from your hand or graveyard. So there's another card in the deck that works with him engraved, which I will show a little bit later. So that is it for the Lair of Darkness monsters. Very short package. There are other monsters that tribute and do some other shenanigans, but I just wanted to make sure I could grab these as quickly as possible, especially these 6 being your normal summons and him Arima being your search. The only other 2 monsters we play is a Scythe and a Moraltak. Shoutouts to Gabriel for loaning me the super rare. I like having my decks max rarity, so big shout outs to him. These cards are absolutely insane. Use cards like Back to Front to bring them back from the graveyard, and you can use them multiple times. One duel, not at this event though, I scythed the guy I think 4 times in a row, Moral tacked twice. These cards are insane. This is what makes the deck viable, is Sanctum and these cards. So that's it for the monsters. Very short monster lineup. Moving on to the spells. So the way I do my spells is I'm going to do the low count spells first, moving up to the high count spells. So shoutouts to Michael. This was his idea. So with regards to the deck, I am playing, so the secret spice, well not really secret, but the spice is we play Card of Demise. So we don't often have a hand ready for Super Poly for the discard. So we don't want to maximize Super Poly, but we need a replacement card. And the best replacement card I could think of was Enemy Controller, because they both achieve the same thing. Super Poly gets rid of 2 cards. Enemy Controller, you tribute one of their cards, steal the other. And even if you don't have Lair of Darkness live, you can tribute one of your own cards, one of the tokens that was possibly made by Lair earlier on, or you could even just flip or protect yourself by turning one of their monsters to defense position. So we just play one of each, simply for the reason that we can't play 2 Super Poly, and Enemy Controller, we don't know if we're playing against a heavy monster deck, opponents. We don't know if they're playing heavy spam monsters or if they're ending on 1 monster, so we only play the 1. This is the best ratio I've ever played. I've tried 2 and 1, I've tried 2 and 1, I've tried 2 and 2, I've tried 3 and none. This is insane. This ratio is crazy. So shout outs to Michael for suggesting this. Then we play the mandatory 1 terraforming, and then we play 1 Mystic Mine. I hope they limit this card so that I can carry on playing it at 1. I just play it just in case that we're going late game and I'm running out of my trap resources and they're a big heavy monster deck. You can just plonk this down, wait until you draw some traps, and then just blow them out. You can replace it with Lair and then carry on with your plays, tribute their cards. The card's incredible. It's really degenerate, but it does help a lot, especially when you metaverse into this after they've set up a huge board. It's crazy. That's it for the 1-ofs. No 2-ofs, and then the big boy MVP, Lair of Darkness. So this is the card that lets us tribute our opponent's cards, gives us tokens and your opponent's tokens in the end phase, unfortunately. Cool thing about this is the effect is mandatory, so there have been some issues where I forget or my opponent forgets to get the tokens, and we have to then give the tokens when it is remembered because it's mandatory, it's not a choice. So you will always have cards that you can link line with, not that it ever happens. I think I went into my extra deck a total of 1 time during the whole of the event that took place yesterday, so not a big deal. But yeah, this card is a big deal. This is the heart and soul. If they get rid of all 3, you're pretty much done. I have won many games without even using a Lair, just because of the amount of traps and the amount of interaction I have, but this card makes the deck broken. We then play 3 Duality and 3 Demise for our draw power. I tried Extravagance. The problem with Extravagance is it's not really the banishing of your extra deck, because like I said, you hardly use your extra deck. But at a regionals recently in Bloemfontein, I played this deck with Extravagance instead of Demise. Demise is a +2, Extravagance is a +1. It is as simple as that. It's math. Like, of course I want to be drawing an extra card instead of 1, and also you want to keep your Super Poly targets there, because you do side 2 Super Polys, so you can bump it up to 3, and then you will always have Super Poly targets. It happened at the regionals in Bloem where I banished all my Super Poly targets and I couldn't resolve Super Poly. So card is absolutely insane. +2, the duality you dig for your normal summons. Like I said, the deck is heavily based on normal summons, and with your Diablos, if you draw it off Demise, it doesn't matter, because if it gets sent to grave, you can tribute your Lilith during your turn, summon the Darkest Diablos, and get your traps. It's such a good card. I'm so glad I decided to play this over Extravagance. Now off to the traps. So the one-offs, we just play one Metaverse. So Lilith can sometimes hit this. It doesn't happen often, but if it does, it gets you to your Lair quicker, which is really, really nice. And also to Metaverse into Mystic Mine, like I said, it can stop your opponents. Now for our 2-ofs, so we play 2 Lost Wind, 2 Heavy Storm Duster, 2 Compulsory, and then we're technically playing 3 of all of them because we play 2 Trap Trick. So this is a concept that I got off of Team Samurai X1's channel. He has 2 deck profiles there, Lair of Darkness, where the gentleman speaks about how Trap Trick is basically a third of each of these cards, and all these cards have to have a different utility against different decks. So Compulsory is really good if you need to bounce back your own cards even. It's good to just instantly remove a card or field that isn't destruction, that doesn't send it to the grave. Lost Wind, you basically, if you don't Trap Trick it, you get 4 Lost Winds from playing 2. This card is insane. This card has won me so many duels. Halving the attack of any monster permanently and negating its effects is just insane. And then Heavy Storm Duster. So a lot of decks in the format right now aren't heavy back row based, but this card you can use on your own cards. You can use it on Sanctum to destroy cards. You can use it on your Scythe or your Morale Attack if you draw them. This card is insane. I play the third of each of these cards in the side, just so that I have more flexible spots. So if I'm playing against a very heavy monster deck, I'll cut these 2 and I'll put a third of that and a third of that, just so I have more monster removal. And then the same speaks for these. If I'm playing a heavy back row deck, I'll remove possibly both of these, and maybe I'll put in a third of this and that, a third of that. There's also some other back row removal I play in the side deck, which we'll get to. But yeah, these are my tech cards. These are the cards that put in work. Really, really good. Just for reference sake, against the Crusadia player, every time he normal summoned, I just kept on bouncing it back to his hand, and he could never link climb. Easy way to beat them. If you never let them get their normal summon off, they can't play. So something easy, 3 Judgments. We stop Twin Twister, we stop Red Reboot. We don't like playing against that. 3 back to fronts. Like I said, you can bring back the artifact cards. You can bring back Lilith and then use her as soon as you summon her. If they chain something to stop her or to blow up or whatever, you can chain her effect and then just get your traps back. This card is insane. It's such a good card. It's also, you can also Trap Trick it because it's a normal trap. And then finally, MVP, 3 Artifact Sanctum. This card is stupid. If they destroy it, you pop a card. If you activate it, you basically win the duel. It's, if you resolve 2, maybe 3 of these, it's over. They can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that is the main deck, 41. I am thinking of adding in some spice with this, just because I pulled it. It is going into my Burning Abyss deck as a one-of, just to have ripping a card out of your opponent's hand is helpful. And then also I wanted to put in maybe a Melody and this, so that it bumps up the dragons to 3 for Diablos. And then I can potentially search both out, because the artifacts are light and then the monsters are dark. So you can hit all dark to rip a card, or you can do light and dark to pop cards. So I think it's light and dark to pop cards. Yes, those are the ones that destroy 2. So I am thinking of doing that. Probably won't, just for consistency, but it's an idea that you can use. Extra deck is simple. So we play the best extra deck card in the game. 5 Lair of Darkness tokens. We play the Cyber Dragon cards because we don't like losing to Cyber Dragon, even though they are a very easy matchup. Against my Cyber Dragon player, I didn't actually use either of these. I hard flexed on him and I just killed him using my normal deck. I didn't have to use my extra deck. 2 darks because everything, Lair of Darkness makes everything dark. We don't want to play 3 because there is some cards in the extra deck that we want there just in case. So we just play the 2. We don't like Thunder Dragon, and we don't like Pendulums. We don't like Salamangreat and Marincess, and we don't like everything else. Bomber Dragon, you can back to front to it, blow up all the monsters. I was playing Trisbania, but I cut it because you don't want to blow up your own spells. But this never, ever, ever, ever comes up. Neither does this one, Borrow Load. But this outs big cards. But Lair of Darkness outs big cards. Anyway, Avramax, you just tributes it off. But yeah. The only one you do go into is Beat Cop. This card is broken in the deck it's supposed to be used in, which is nice. Tributing one of their cards to make your cards invincible is disgusting. Security Dragon and a Link Rebo, so you can link your tokens into Link Rebo, and then you can Security Dragon and, you know, bounce back a card, but it's never comes up. Wee Witch for damage, that does come up. Cerberus and Nightmare just for removal. Now, my side deck, which is, I like to think, a little bit spicy just because it's not, you know, a standard side deck. So we play one Lancia because we have Sanctums, one Ghost Spell, and one DD Crow. The reason for this is I just want diversity against decks that use the graveyard. I want diversity against Orcust and Ghost Spell. I saw at the most previous regionals, the winner of the regionals, Byron, he used this to stop a True King card, which is, it's crazy. This card has so much application against so many different cards that people don't even know about. And then DD Crow is just so good. It's also a card that you can draw off the Mars and you can use, you don't have to wait. And then obviously Lancia for Orcust, and we can turbo it out with Sanctum. We play 2 Sphere modes because we can demise into it, and our normal summon, if we don't normal summon Lilith, this is a good normal summon as well. We can just take up their boards, Pendulums, anything big, Thunder Dragons. Not being able to search off Terraforming or Rima or our Pot of Duality does hurt. Not that much, but it does hurt. So we use Sphere modes if need be. And then, like I said earlier, we play the extra enemy controllers and the extra polys. This is honestly for going second if I'm not too worried about the monsters, or if I don't have super poly targets for the cards I'm playing against, and then super poly is just broken for going second. We play the extra compulsory, extra Lost Wind, and extra heavy storm dusters. Like I said, those are just the 3 of, so we have more diversity. And then we play, which has never come up, but I'm sure it will eventually when I play a mirror match or any back row deck. You can side these 3 in along with the heavy storm duster, and it's potentially a good way against back row decks. I haven't played a back row deck with this deck just yet, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, guys, that's the deck profile. I've been working on this deck for a very long time. I've finally seen success with it. Like I said, at the regionals, I was not playing Demise, I was playing Extravagance, which was wrong. The deck is extremely powerful, and like I said, I will potentially, hopefully, top a regionals or nationals with it. That is my goal with this deck. Thanks a lot, guys.